L-glutamine can help to improve alertness, concentration, focus, memory, and mood. It can boost human growth hormone and it can reduce anxiety. L-glutamine is a conditionally essential amino acid, and it's the main precursor for the production of the neurotransmitter glutamate and GABA. Glutamine is the most abundant amino acid in the body, and it's involved in many of your bodily functions, including much of the activity in your brain. But L-glutamate is the most abundant amino acid in your brain, and the balance of these two is critical for optimal brain function. The function of the glutamine-glutamate cycle is involved in protein synthesis, precursor for muscle growth, regulation of the acid-base balance in the kidneys, provides oxidative fuel for your intestines and your immune system. It provides nitrogen transport between the organs, and it acts as a precursor to neurotransmitter synthesis, nucleotide and nucleic acid synthesis for glutathione production and glucose metabolism. L-glutamine supplementation is mostly talked about in the athletic and the bodybuilding circles for its effect on human growth hormone and muscle recovery after a workout, but L-glutamine is largely ignored by the nootropics community. L-glutamine is a precursor to the excitatory amino acid and neurotransmitter glutamate and aspartate, and the inhibitory amino acid and neurotransmitter GABA, affecting alertness, concentration, focus, memory, and mood. L-glutamine helps to boost your body's immune response, increasing antibodies to fight against viruses and bacteria. L-glutamine helps to tame inflammatory cytokines, and L-glutamine detoxifies the brain from excess ammonia, and it converts it into other amino acids, sugars, and urea. L-glutamine supplies energy to the immune and the intestinal cells. Not enough glutamine and these cells become sluggish and they can't function properly. Supplementary L-glutamine is especially important during times of stress, tension, and physical strain. L-glutamine is an essential amino acid and a precursor for the production of glutamate. Glutamate is the most abundant neurotransmitter in your brain. As an excitatory neurotransmitter, the glutamate is released from the presynaptic cells and then it binds to postsynaptic cells, inducing activation. Too much glutamate and neurons can become overactive, causing a toxic environment that's harmful to the neurons and to cognition. To keep this process in check, glutamate is also a precursor to the inhibitory neurotransmitter GABA. GABA works by preventing neural signaling in overexcited neurons caused by glutamate that can result in anxiety and depression. The balance of glutamine and glutamate has been identified in an array of brain conditions, such as mental illness, tumours and neurodegeneration, as well as in normal brain function. The precursor relationship between glutamine and glutamate and GABA is often referred to in the scientific and research circles as the glutamine-glutamate GABA cycle. Glutamine is naturally synthesized from glutamate and ammonia in the brain cells called astrocytes in a reaction that's catalyzed by glutamine synthase. Newly synthesized glutamine is transferred to the neurons and is hydrolyzed by phosphate-activated glutaminase, and it then produces the glutamate, a portion of which can be decarboxylated to GABA or transaminated to aspartate. Glutamate, the excitatory neurotransmitter, and GABA, the calming neurotransmitter, rely on this cycle to maintain the homeostasis within the brain. Glutamine also modulates the synthesis of nitric oxide by controlling the supply of its precursor arginine. When this cycle gets out of whack, things start to break down. The results can be particularly nasty and result in conditions like epilepsy or hepatic encephalopathy, which affects behavior, mood, speech, sleep, and the way that you move. L-glutamine becomes a conditionally essential amino acid when your body can't produce enough of it on its own, and then you need to replenish the L-glutamine levels either through supplementation or food. L-glutamine can be found in foods like beef, pork, fish, eggs, milk, and dairy. L-glutamine is critical for the optimized brain. It's a precursor of the neurotransmitter glutamate. The balance of glutamine and glutamate is crucial to an optimized healthy brain. The normal cycling of glutamine and glutamate takes a huge amount of energy in the brain. Research has estimated that the glutamine-glutamate GABA cycle accounts for more than 80% of the cerebral glucose consumption. So when you're using nootropics like resveratrol or PQQ to boost the mental energy, much of that energy is going towards maintaining the glutamine GABA cycle. A disruption of this cycle can result in all kinds of problems, including Ray's syndrome, epilepsy, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, anxiety, depression, and alcohol addiction. One Korean study measured glutamate and glutamine concentrations in the prefrontal cortex of mice who were infused with an astrocyte toxin, and they used inhibitors to disrupt the glutamate-glutamine cycle. Glutamate and glutamine levels decreased on the 5th day in the mice. The animals experienced immobility and a decreased preference for sucrose or sugar, a sure indication in mice of depression. A direct infusion of L-glutamine completely reversed all the impairments that were originally induced in the animals, and the researchers concluded that the neuronal deficiency of L-glutamine caused the depression. Researchers have also been on the hunt to determine what causes the human brain to age. Recently, mitochondrial dysfunction has been implicated in the loss of brain function in neurodegenerative diseases and aging, leading to an abnormal increase in the excitatory neurotransmitter glutamate. A study at the New York University School of Medicine used 28 patients with mild traumatic brain injury and 22 matched controls. Grey and white matter in the brain was measured using MRIs. The study found that 1 year after a traumatic brain injury, there was a significant global brain atrophy, much larger than in the control subjects. The team noted the amount of brain damage from just one concussion, and that this type of injury was not exclusive to a severe blow to the head. Even a mild injury could cause brain damage. Most of the damage was associated with a disrupted glutamine to glutamate cycle and an abnormal increase in glutamate levels. Low levels of glutamine are associated with a variety of health problems. Cellular energy drops and the immune system weakens. Short and long-term memory declines. Anxiety, insomnia, and a lack of concentration can occur. Muscle spasms, hypertension, convulsions, and Tourette's syndrome and epilepsy can occur. Ammonia levels rise in the brain cells, and poor digestion, bloating, flatulence, and constipation can occur. When your neurotransmitters, including L-glutamine and glutamate, are in balance, you feel motivated, productive, and energetic, and you feel calm and relaxed during the downtime. When the L-glutamine levels are low, you feel filled with dread. You're constantly worried, and you have racing thoughts, and you're frequently late and disorganized. Many people in this L-glutamine slump resort to high carbohydrate foods and drugs or alcohol to relax. The amino acid L-glutamine is a precursor to L-glutamate production in the body. L-glutamate gets converted to GABA. L-glutamine improves concentration and focus. The glutamate in your body, the most abundant excitatory neurotransmitter, is responsible for attention span, brain energy, learning ability, memory, and staying awake. An enzyme called glutamate decarboxylase converts the glutamate to GABA. It does it with the help of the active form of vitamin B6, pyridoxal 5-phosphate. The amino acid taurine helps to increase the communication and the productivity of this enzyme, and zinc helps with the release of GABA from its receptors. When the glutamine-glutamate GABA cycle works effectively, you feel relaxed with no stress or feelings of anxiety. Detoxification of your liver results in a more restful night's sleep. Focus, concentration, memory, and mood all improve. During times of chronic long-term stress caused by physical exertion or an illness, glutamine levels in your body can drop by 50% or more. Supplementing with L-glutamine can improve your quality of life, increase energy levels, reduce muscle aches, improve digestion and gut health, improve quality of sleep, and reduce pain and fatigue. When you balance L-glutamine levels in your brain, you feel relaxed and calm. Cravings for sugar and alcohol will decline. L-glutamine can help in the recovery from workouts and improve performance. You can find it easier to lose weight. Many users say the L-glutamine can help to heal a leaky gut and reduce the symptoms of Crohn's and celiac disease. As a nootropic, the L-glutamine can help to improve alertness, concentration, focus, memory, and mood. L-glutamine was identified as a neurotransmitter several decades ago, and there has been a lot of research on L-glutamine published since. But most of it is focused on strength training and maintaining muscle mass in athletes, and for people who are healing from surgery or recovering from an illness. But L-glutamine can be a powerful nootropic as well. The L-glutamine increases human growth hormone. Bodybuilders and athletes use supplementary L-glutamine to help to repair and build muscle, and there are several studies supporting the notion that the L-glutamine increases human growth hormone. In one study, researchers worked with 9 healthy subjects and gave them 2 grams of L-glutamine in a cola drink. Blood samples were taken before drinking the cola spiked drink and then again 30, 60 and 90 minutes afterwards. The researchers found that both the L-glutamine and the human growth hormone levels were significantly higher than before taking the L-glutamine. The team concluded that a surprisingly small oral glutamine load was capable of elevating the human growth hormone. Human growth hormone and brain-derived neurotropic factor are intrinsically linked. The brain-derived neurotropic factor is involved in long-term potentiation and the encoding of new long-term memories. Lack of concentration and poor memory can be improved by supplementing with L-glutamine with vitamin B3 or niacin. Some of the glutamine in your body is transformed into glutamic acid in the brain. Glutamic acid functions first as a fuel, but it also gets rid of excess ammonia by binding to the cellular toxin and converting it into glutamine. A study in the Netherlands conducted a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial with 42 healthy men and women aged 40 to 76 years. The subjects received 5 grams containing glycine, L-glutamine and niacin twice a day for 3 weeks. The L-glutamine stack increased the human growth hormone by 70% when compared to the placebo. But surprisingly, it wasn't the growth hormone that improved the memory and the vigor. It was insulin-like growth factor 1 that improved the memory and the vigor, attributed to the L-glutamine stack that the subjects were taking for the 3 weeks. Most people don't get enough L-glutamine from food alone, and adding the L-glutamine to your diet can help to boost your immune system, improve your ability to fight infections and diseases, and boost cognition. The recommended daily dose of the L-glutamine is 2 to 5 grams per day. Serious athletes often use up to 10 grams of L-glutamine per day. L-glutamine is considered very safe when taken in the normal recommended doses. Rarely people report side effects like nausea, vomiting, flatulence, abdominal pain, constipation, dry mouth, hemorrhoids, dizziness, depression, skin rash, insomnia, and increased sweating. Some recent research has shown that the L-glutamine can stimulate tumor growth, so if you're dealing with any form of cancer, you should avoid L-glutamine. If you're dealing with cirrhosis of the liver, you should also avoid L-glutamine. If you have severe liver disease that includes difficulty thinking or confusion, known as hepatic encephalopathy, don't use L-glutamine. If you're allergic or sensitive to MSG, you may be sensitive to L-glutamine because your body converts it into glutamate. If you've got a severe mental health disorder, including mania or frequency to have seizures, you might also want to avoid L-glutamine. If you're dealing with illness, recovery from surgery, strenuous physical activity like working out, leaky gut syndrome, Crohn's or celiac disease, and need some help in recovery, the L-glutamine can help. The L-glutamine also helps to curb the desire for sugar, carbohydrate, and alcohol. It's suggested trying L-glutamine supplement first at 500 milligrams per day and seeing how you react before you slowly increase the dose up to 20 grams per day maximum. Most users find a much lower dose of 5 grams per day effective for boosting cognition, mood, and memory. For more information about herbs, supplements, and natural treatments, check out my website.